ready?
The thing is, I was on time, just to be like, I just want the record to be known. I was on time. It was 5:01. I was ready. I have tech issues. Happy Super Bowl week. It's also Eli Manning. It's a first ballot Hall of Famer week to those who do celebrate. Hi, Munaf. I made you wait 30 minutes. How are you doing?
First ballot Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me right now? I'm not even going to start on that.
Tomorrow,
But
everyone.
yeah, Super Bowl week. Definitely excited. I was chatting it up with producer Ryan about the NBA trade deadline. I said I'm more excited about that than the actual Super Bowl, which I've seen a lot of comments and tweets on social media, not about the trade deadline for the NBA, but just in general about this game.
Okay.
But we're still going to fucking bet it.
Yeah, we have to. It's very painful for me too, because obviously it's the Eagles, and then you get the really just amazing double whammy that Saquon is on the team, and then then they're playing the Chiefs, who no, I want to be with everyone and root against them, but I'm simply not going to do that. It's just not going to happen. 0% chance that
under
occurred.
2 minutes of Saquon name getting dropped by Stephie, you cashed your ticket there.
Honestly, if you want to end up in the hospital, which no one wants to, but if you wanted to, you could take a shot every time that the broadcast brings up the Giants, because I promise you it's going to be so many times.
Oh, you're probably going to be done by the time kickoff starts, talking about Barkley coming over from the Giants and division team making it to the Super Bowl, but it is what it is at this point.
It's also bullshit because I went to Mexico and you can't tell because this shitty camera that I'm using is making me look paler than fuck. So let's get into the Super Bowl.
I'll vouch for you on that one, because the camera she was using before, you could see the Mexico tan.
Anyways, this is ridiculous. Okay, let's talk about the Super Bowl. We'll do a quick little preview because I know we've all been thinking about this for over a week now. Mahomes and the Chiefs facing Saquon and the Eagles. Chiefs are 1.5-point favorites. Eagles are plus 100 on the money line. Total is sitting at 48.5. The money is split about 50-50, but Eagles are holding 69% of the bets. Thoughts on this game?
Yeah, obviously, number one rule, I think, at least for myself and many others, is probably don't bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
I think that applies for me here as well. I don't know. The fact that number one, this is their fifth Super Bowl now that he's actually playing in and going for the three-peat. It's just familiar territory for this team, right? Leading up to media week and things like that, and their rematch and whatever. But the Chiefs just find a way. I know the conversation always has been about, the reps, they give them these calls and this, that, and the other. But Mahomes and Kelsey and that team, they just find ways. I think the one, from an X's and O standpoint, and I'll get your take on this as well, obviously, is Spags' defense going up against Jalen Hurts. We know the splits of how bad Jalen Hurts is when he does get blitzed and pressured. Mm-hmm. That's the part that I'm looking at. Is that going to be something that Jalen Hurts can contain or break out of? I think that's what's really going to lead to the success for this Eagles team in this game. So, of course, my boss that writes my paychecks is an Eagles fan. So, I want the Eagles to win, but at least my money's going to be on the Chiefs in this game.
Yeah. I think, first of all, I'm sorry. Actually, I've already have to get into a rant. I'm so fucking tired of hearing about the refs thing. Just can everyone shut the fuck up? Genuinely, shut the fuck up. I'm actually so done with it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. You guys come up with everyone complains about the refs for every big game, even if the Chiefs are in it. So that's my little rant on that. Granted, yes, I understand why people are complaining, but at the same time, just shut the fuck up. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, Spags is the GOAT. I think that the key matchup here, like you said, is Hurts versus Spags in the blitzes. Yep. Mahomes versus the Fangio defense too. A lot of this comes down to Saquon too. Are they able to at least control him? You're not going to be able to stop him. He's Saquon Barkley. I think still the best way to bet this is you just bet Mahomes MVP. Like there's still
Yeah.
plus 110s out in the world. I don't think that there's going to be a case where they win and he's not the MVP unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, unless you get like a guy that gets like 2 pick sixes, or Kelsey has like 3 touchdowns for like 200 yards, but then obviously all come from Mahomes. The other one that I bet, I mean, like you mentioned the MVPs, I picked up the Barkley tickets early before the playoffs started for him to win MVP. So if he has a big game, you know, if he has another game where he goes for 125 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, I do think that he gets MVP as well. But I think the game is going to be on Jalen Hurts' shoulders. We saw what he was able to do in the playoffs or in the Super Bowl last time these two teams matched up. He had probably his best game of his career in that Super Bowl game, possibly.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be something similar for him to will this team to the victory there. That was a fun game to watch, but yeah, I have Mahomes tickets, and then I have Barkley tickets as well for MVP there. So I'm with you on the MVP topic.
Yeah, I think that's the way. Like I think if the Chiefs, I mean, if the Eagles win, it's because Saquon had the massive game that a lot of people are expecting. Like I think that's how they take control of this game. Let's just get into props. That's what people are here for. What are you looking at in this game?
Yeah, so the first one I had circled and I wanted to bet immediately when it did drop was Dallas Goedert to go over on receiving yards and on his reception. So the number opened up, I think it was 45 and a half, and I'll try to pull it up as I'm because that was the first click I had. 45 and a half was the number. It's up to 52 and a half, 53 and a half in the spots. We know the story this season. Tight ends against the Chiefs, they've done very well. Mm-hmm. Dallas Goedert has also been a great target for Jalen Hurts all throughout this postseason. I think that's something that continues as well. Had a big Super Bowl against the Chiefs, a couple years ago. So I think he's going to have a massive game here. So I like his receptions to go over, and I like his yardage to go over to kick things off here. So that's the first one I bet immediately as soon as the props dropped.
I love it. And my first bet was Dallas Goedert longest reception over 18.5 minus 115. Like you said, like he has become like a focal point of this offense. You look at the 3 playoff games, 15 catches, 18 targets, or 188 yards. The Chiefs have been one of the worst defenses against opposing tight ends. And then, I like the receptions too. I think that number, what is it at now, the receiving yards? I kind of blacked out there.
I see DraftKings has 52 and a half for Goddard.
Okay. A lot of these lines are actually staying way more stable than I thought they were going to. Like, I'm not seeing them bet up as high as I thought that they were going to get. Like, even like Saquon's rushing and stuff. So I'm with you on Goddard. I think a big game for him is incoming, like his longest reception. Off of that, D-Hop longest reception over 8.5 minus 120. A lot of people are very pro Juju, and that's fine. I think you have to pick Juju or D-Hop in this matchup. I'm choosing to pick D-Hop. I get it. Like, I understand why people are going the Juju route. But I just see a lot of this where, like, Kelsey's going to be blanketed. You're going to get D-Hop in single coverage. I think relying on, like, I know that Juju's a vet, but he doesn't feel like a vet in the way that D-Hop is a vet. Like, it's not the same thing, all right? So I also like his anytime touchdown. I could see maybe he gets 1 catch. Maybe that catch is 11 yards for a touchdown. I like it. It's only 8.5. He went over this in the AFC Championship, and he went over 10 out of his last 12 regular season games. So I am in on the D-Hop longest reception as well.
Yeah, obviously being a former Texan, I'm definitely going to be rooting for him to have a
good
game.
And it tugs at your heartstrings. Like, I want D-Hop to win so bad. I'm actually rooting for D-Hop in this Super Bowl. That's who I'm rooting for.
Yeah, it is like not even his fault that he got traded. I know there's stuff that was said after he got traded about why exactly he got traded, but I mean, when he was here, he was really automatic, and he's played in three games in his career against the Eagles. He's had 100 plus receiving yards in all 3 of those games. So mind you that he was the number 1 guy in those games, but at a point, I don't think we would have ever seen a guy like D-Hop where his number is right now as far as his receiving yards go at, what is it, at DraftKings right now? It's
like
at
13.5, right?
It's down to like 11.5 now, but it's something you and I talked about throughout the season, right? When we have these low yardage situations, we play both the longest reception to go over and the yardage to go over, thinking that it gets done in 1 catch. So Yeah, I'm with you. I like D Hop in this game. I think he's gonna, seize the opportunity here. You mentioned the Juju one. I know it's crazy to think that when they play the Eagles in that Super Bowl, that he was on this team. That was kind of a shock to me, but
That is so weird.
it really is. I thought he was still at the
What the
Steelers at that
fuck?
point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of, like you mentioned, I see a lot of people on the Juju Smith-Schuster train this week.
Yeah, it's getting weird though. Like when did he become a public darling? Because you guys all hated him, as far as I was concerned, roasting him for his TikToks and whatever. And now everyone's just like glazing the shit out of him, and I don't know where it came from. Like I know it's like the snap count. I hear the analysis on it, but that's fine. I'm just not going that direction. I think D Hop is the class. It just makes sense with D Hop to me.
Yeah, and with D Hop, like he has some of the best hands in the NFL.
Right.
Like his just catch to drop ratio was, it was astronomical when he was with the Texans and even with the Cardinals there. So yeah, D Hop, I like that. As far as I want to get there with the rushing yards for Xavier Worthy, because I think they're gonna at least scheme up maybe 2 runs, but it's at 6.5. It feels
Is
low
it now?
there.
See, I got it at 4.5. I took it right when it opened.
Yeah.
And
so
now I feel uncomfortable giving it out any like longer than that.
Yeah. And it would probably take 2 rush attempts then for him to get over this number. But
right.
Shop around, maybe you're able to find a 5.5 that's out there, maybe a Rogue's 5.5. But in that championship game against the Bills, he did have 2 attempts for 16 yards. But I think that's another guy if you want to take, if the longest rush is available for him, that's another one you probably want to take for Xavier Worthy. So that was one I was looking into as well. They don't have that one listed, unfortunately, but I do like that one as well. What else?
I feel like this is going to be, there's a few like things that I want to wait and add on later in the week. I have one more longest reception that I like.
Mm-hmm.
He's becoming a little bit popular, which I always hate. I've been flirting with Noah Grays a little bit, but I don't know if that's getting somewhat too cute. So I might get there, but that's probably going to be like, that'll be on the Friday show if I end up adding it. I like Devontae Smith's over 19.5. That's minus 115. I think it's a nice matchup here against the Chiefs defense, to be completely honest. He's gone over in 2 out of the 3 playoff games, 6 of the last 8 regular season. And he typically flies over. Like, this is a guy that I'm going to look at the 30 plus type markets. Yeah. And I also like his receptions, because I think this game is going to go in a way where if the Chiefs win, it's because they forced the Eagles to have to throw the ball and make Hurts beat them in that second half. That's how I 100%. Foresee this going. And I think that lends itself nicely to Devontae Smith being involved. And 19.5 for Devontae Smith is not a lot.
Yeah. Didn't he have like 99 yards in the Super Bowl between these two like a couple years ago? Let me see how the box.
I didn't even go back and look at that, but I could totally see that. He typically flies over this. He's from here. What's the other? He can be the first wide receiver. I know someone in the chat knows. What's the thing that he can do? Like to win the Super Bowl, Natty, and something else. I don't even know. I know someone in the chat knows.
Yeah, I'm sure the chat could help us out with that. But yeah, that Super Bowl where they played, it was 7 receptions, 9 targets, 100 receiving yards, longest reception of 45.
Yeah. See, yeah, like he's that. Someone, the 30 plus type market is going to be something that I would be very interested in. Let's see. I have it right here. Plus 290 to have a 30 plus yard reception.
I like that.
I like that quite a bit. What's another prop that you're looking at?
I think the sneaky one may be Samaje Perine to go over on his receiving yards. It's at 7.5. I don't trust Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, at least in the passing game, but I think that if it's like a 3rd down and 5 and they bring Samaje Perine in for those 3rd down, maybe like a catch out of the backfield for him, I think that there's a possibility there. He did have the catching, or I should say the game-sealing catch last week against the Bills. 17 yards. He had 13 yards in the regular. I'm not going to read the entire receiving yards for him during the regular season, but he's gotten there more times than not. So 7.5, I really, really do like that for him in this game. I'm going to be betting that one. And then they have his longest reception as well. That's another one, the sneaky ones. I really like looking at like the lower, like the small, just like the shorter yardage ones, thinking
We're
that it
kind of
might.
sluts for that. Like that's kind of our
Yeah,
brand, to be honest. We get real slutty for those type of like shorter little
yeah,
yardage. Like it's just one little. I just want one little pop, and that's all we need.
yeah. That's all we need. So it's like, all right, when we get to the like, okay, I'm gonna be on the Stephie show. All right, I need to scroll down to the bottom
Yeah,
where it's like
exactly. You have
12
to
and a
find it,
half
but
or
that's where the
less.
money's made. All right. It's like the
Yeah,
guy you don't think of, which is why, like, I know you mentioned Pacheco, which I agree with you. Like, this is more a gut call than anything. And I also love when you post a bet and the internet is
Mhm.
like, you are the biggest dumbass. Like, and when I get told to like go get a sandwich, I'm like, it's gonna hit. So I like his over 3.5 receiving yards at -115. It's one fucking catch. Reed
Yeah.
loves his fucking screen passes. He's looked like ass. I'm well aware. But versus Buffalo, regardless of snap count, he still had 2 receptions for 12 yards, and his longest was a 10-yard catch. So I still think that the 3.5 there at -115, I still think there's value there. I still do. Can't knock me off of it.
Yeah, yeah, like I mentioned, when it gets down to those like those 3rd and 5s, or maybe it's a 4th down situation, I think that they probably, those screen passes, or maybe he's like a drag router for whatever for him. I think that he's definitely a possibility that he gets there. So that is on my card as well. I'll go to make that one official for sure.
There we go. What else are you looking at? I'm gonna save some things for the Friday show, but I'm gonna give out like some of my like a little bit wilder things. But what else are you looking at?
So you mentioned at the top of the show that I think that if the Eagles win, it has to be probably on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I want to get this with his yards. I really do. I feel like this is a game where he's going to have to throw the football, and he's had success against the Chiefs in his career throwing the football. It's at 213.5.
It's
If they're going to
213.
be blitz, yeah.
Oh no, I'm gonna have to do it. I don't know though.
So 2 games in the regular season, at least, he had 387 and then a 150. But I kind of want to like just take his longest his longest completion to go over, and then that's it.
I think
Because
that's
you like
probably
the Devontae Smith one, right? And let me see what his
I
longest.
do think that might be the way.
It's 33.5. Which is funny because Mahomes is at 34.5.
What is that? 34.5.
For Mahomes, and then Hurts is at 33.5.
See, that's surprising to me. I'm surprised that doesn't like, that's not, the math isn't mathing there. Also, this is for Devontae Smith. If the Eagles win, he'll be the first player ever to win the Super Bowl, appearing in 2 Super Bowls, win 2 national titles, the Heisman Trophy, all over a 7-year span.
Damn.
That's crazy.
That's impressive right there. That's what you call a resume right there.
What's this one Jake's given? Devontae Smith 80 plus.
Jake, my man.
Pacheco anytime. 15-1. I like it. How about that?
Yeah.
David
you like
got
Devontae to have a big
at
game.
204.5. See, that's a good number.
Yeah, that's a good number. I got it. It's inflated now.
Yeah, it is inflated now. Is
Those are the props that I
practice?
like. This is from the player prop side.
Yeah. Did
Oh,
Gainwell
I haven't even
practice?
checked
Do we
the
know?
latest injury report.
Let's see if let me see if there's odds out for him. That'll just tell us everything. No, there isn't. And even if I feel like if they have those, they won't put them out anyways till a little bit later. Everyone really wants to make Gainwell a thing this Super Bowl, huh?
Yeah, it still says he's still in concussion protocol. So it's only today's Wednesday.
Oh,
yeah, so he still has about 3 to 4 days. We'll see. But yeah, I don't see his props out yet, but that would be a good one. What do you think about Barkley in this game?
Barkley? I think that I'm shocked that for how much everyone is talking about him, it doesn't sound like you guys are putting money on him, because that rushing line is like not moving. Because my intention was for it to get up to like a, I don't know, 117.5, 116.5, and then take the under. But like I'm not taking the under where it is right now. It was like
Yeah.
they closed at like 124.5 and he went under last week, but like I can't do that under these conditions. But
Yeah,
I
but
want
last
to
week
be
also turned
I
into
wanna
a
be
blowout as
hater.
well, right?
Yeah. Are you going to take
Against
the
the
over?
I can't. I know. So I liked Joe Mixon's under when they play the Texans in that
Yeah.
divisional round game, but he had 80 plus rushing yards in that game, did Joe Mixon. And then I want to say last week James Cook had a really good game as well, which I think if the Bills wanted to win that game, like it had to have been them just running the football with James Cook because he was doing so well. But I think with the extra extra time that Andy Reid gets now with 2 weeks
Yeah.
getting to game plan for Saquon, it's going to be a stay away for me. If you had a gun to my head, I would
Spags
look at
is
the
like
under.
I feel like Spags still doesn't get the respect
He
that
doesn't.
he
He really
deserves.
doesn't. I think if you
Literally.
want to pivot, maybe just take his rushing yards, or sorry, his receiving yards to go over
I
for
don't
Saquon.
know. I kind of like his under receptions. I feel like Saquon will sneak into some parlays where I just take alts where it's like 80 plus or like 100 plus, but like
Yeah.
like over it's like 111.5 at some books. I cannot do that.
Yeah, I can't in this game. So he was good to me like during the regular season, into the regular season, but I think this is the
Yeah.
one game I want to stay at least away from. And look, he could have a big game. He's fully capable of it. We know that, but
Yeah.
it's just the time that you're giving Spags and Andy Reid to prep for a guy like this, and they'll do their best.
Yeah.
Trevor
I
has a
do
question
like
of the
the
day.
Mahomes rush attempts over 5.5. He's already
Okay.
had 18 carries in the 2 playoff games. And you also kneel downs count as rush
Yeah.
attempts. So
Mhm.
that's kind of nice there because I could see this game ending like in that direction. I also like Mahomes anytime touchdown. Plus 400 is kind of a nice number for him.
Didn't he have the first touchdown last year?
That's a good question. No,
think
I thought San Fran scored first. Didn't
I
CMC
could
throw
be
the
wrong.
ball? I don't know. Am I making that up? Did
Was it
CMC
last
throw a
year?
touchdown or did he attempt to throw a touchdown?
I thought he caught a touchdown from Jennings.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay,
Right?
I knew. Yeah, that sounds more accurate. But I think plus 400 for Mahomes. I just saw it moved. I made a parlay.
Mhm.
That now we're talking about like just the stupidest shit. I made a Let the World Burn remix where it's both quarterbacks to throw an interception and both quarterbacks to get a touchdown, 30-1. That's fun.
I mean, listen. Look, Jake's right. Yeah, it was a year that they played the Niners the first time.
Oh, okay. Got it.
And you're right. CMC did score the first touchdown last year. So,
Okay.
that doesn't sound too crazy what you just mentioned.
Right? It could, because what if it starts to get a little hectic towards the end? And then I think Hurts, once he starts having to throw the ball, I just don't. And I'm sorry, it's ridiculous. They've been running the ball so much that he hasn't thrown an interception since 11-10. Like, what do you mean he hasn't thrown an interception since November? I feel like no one's more due.
Yeah.
And having them forcing him to throw the ball, there's more room for error there.
We talked about that with Josh Allen, didn't we? And then the next week he went out and threw the interception. I'll say this, the 2 regular season games for Mahomes against the Eagles, he did throw an interception in each one of those.
Yeah.
So
doesn't
sound too crazy to me.
No. What else do I have here? I did an anytime touchdown parlay that was Saquon, Hurts, and Hunt.
Okay.
That was like one of the first things I put in. I listen, it's Cooper DeJean's birthday for him to get his first career interception, 11-1. I like it. Have a little fun.
Game sealing interception. How about that?
Yeah. And then okay, ready for this? I had to find a way to bet Scotty Scheffler because I'm not betting him at plus 275. So I bet Scotty Scheffler to win the Waste Management Open.
Mm-hmm.
Parlayed with Mahomes to win MVP at plus 669.
I mean, like we mentioned, if the Chiefs win, Mahomes is probably getting. He's getting the MVP, right? Like something crazy would have to happen for him not to win it. Scheffler, I mean, that's you would know more than that. I don't know. The guy's an animal.
He's ridiculous.
Did he shave his beard?
I
Or is it
don't.
still there?
He like just go. He changes it up every once in a while now. He did shave it though. He has been pretty clean shaved since like last year. Any of these like novelty props that you've looked at?
Yeah, so that's what I was looking at right now. Let's see here if anything
I like
sticks
the
out.
players to have a pass attempt over 2.5. Like to throw.
Oh,
Since
yeah, you're thinking
jail.
like a little Philly special.
Yeah, because I think neither of these teams really do that. But I think if the Eagles do that, I could totally see it being Saquon. Because then he's just gonna have one of the like the craziest game. It is gonna be like the most painful thing I've ever experienced.
What's going to end up happening with Saquon? It's going to be a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. He's going to get MVP.
He's gonna break
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Like 18 Super Bowl records.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen.
It's ridiculous. What are you looking at in the novelties?
There's not much that stuck out to me. There's a whole bunch of like exact stuff. I don't like looking at that. No, DraftKings has, will there be a flea flicker at plus 250?
That's fun.
I could see like the Eagles doing some shit like that, like hand it off to Barkley and sucks the defense in and then throws it back to Hurts. He throws a 80-yard bomb to Devontae Smith for a touchdown, something crazy like that. But
I don't hate that. I like the number on that. I like Philly to call the first time out. I know that was given out on SGPN. I'm totally in on it. And John, that's ridiculous. Can we even put that on the internet? Is that even legal? You can take that bet on me. Kendrick Lamar over 10.5 songs if you want to start getting into that type of stuff. Tom Brady to be wearing Mardi Gras beads. I know that little zesty motherfucker is gonna have Mardi Gras beads on.
There should be a prop that he has on all 7 Super Bowl rings.
Oh well. Yeah. If he wore, that's something he would do though.
He would. That's what I'm saying. Like that would be something that he would do. Just kind of like casually just sitting there like, ooh.
Ew.
There's a speaking of your Devontae Smith one, 6-1 to have the most rushing yards, or sorry, receiving yards.
I was like rushing. Now you're being ridiculous. That's
6-1. No.
I kind of like that.
Most receiving yards. It's on DraftKings. If you go under game leaders and receiving yards,
I might have to flirt with some of those for the Friday show. I didn't even look at all like the specials yet.
Yeah, I haven't looked at it quite yet either.
What else?
They have a lot of like cross-sport stuff and things like that.
I like that. And then I'm having my friends at Cut put up a Kendrick to rap his verse in Bad Blood with Taylor Swift during the halftime show, because I cannot get it out of my head. I can't stop thinking about the fact that they have a song together. They're quietly very good friends, and I could totally see him at some point just doing that verse.
Oh, that would break the internet.
So exactly. And everything's for a viral moment. Like I'm not saying she's going to be there. I'm just saying he's going to do that verse. And I feel strongly about it. I think it's a missed opportunity if he doesn't.
Look, if they put it up, I'll bet it with you.
Okay, great. They're going to put it up. And you can use code SMALLS if anyone wants to
There you go.
I don't know. I think it's a 50% deposit match. Anything else that you're looking at?
No, the ones I like the most, I've given out. I'm gonna dig a little bit more between today and tomorrow and just kind of finalize the card.
Yeah.
And then look at some of the more novelty stuff that you mentioned. But other than that, I think that we covered. At least I think we're in lockstep on the ones that we do like this week. I think we typically look at the same ones. So definitely excited for it though, for sure.
I'm excited for the betting part of it. That's
yeah.
I had you guys. Does everyone remember when I passed out at the gym and I came to and I was told in my head to take Shane Lowry first round leader, and he basically almost did. He literally fucked up on the last hole. I had a dream last night that the score was 26-24 Chiefs. So I bet that 200-1 exact. That's the last one I'll give out before Friday.
Oh God! Now you're gonna make me regret not betting that if it hits. That we won't hear from you
Can you
ever again
imagine?
because you put like $1,000 on it. But no,
I'll retire.
yeah, she'll be retired. No more
Okay.
shows. I don't need it. I just hit a casual 200-1 on Super Bowl 59. So yeah.
I love it. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else, producer Ryan, I don't know if you want to jump in. If you bet anything yet, I'd love to hear if you placed any of your Super Bowl.
No, I have not put
Really
any bets down, but I will be releasing my shed picks on SGPN.
Yes.
There we go.
Tomorrow, I'm going to be recording tomorrow, so I'm going to lock in my final bets tomorrow.
I love it. And then Friday, do longest reception parlay, get out more of these novelty bets, finalize the card. That'll be at 5 p.m. We'll have a bunch of guests on, kind of like a Propapalooza. Bring your own bevy and like, subscribe, review, do all the things, and we'll see you guys on Friday.
Watch them make it, break it, break it, break it.